The number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business.
I'ma do whatever it takes, getting it done, any means, get rid of these snakes. Now I'm up in my stakes, going all in like stuff, get rid of these breaks. Now I ain't never gonna break, double my pace till I go down one of the greats. One of the greats, whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
Having fun, so that's all.
We like the life, man. And we're back, everybody. Ho, 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 ho.
Merry Seven Miss from Seven Figure.
Everybody, welcome back to episode 185 of the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. Also, the final show of 2025. I just wanted to take a minute and give a round of applause to everybody that watched. I don't know how many shows we did this year, but it might have been like 150. Might have been about 150.
Well, yeah, somewhere between. I was gonna guess before you said that 160, but maybe it was a little bit less than that. But we were basically averaging a show every 3 days, which is pretty wild, considering all things. So yeah, glad to have you guys with us on our final stream of 2025.
And, next week being Christmas, right? Like, I'm going to be off. I'm sure that you're going to be. I don't know are you taking the entire week off or just taking less time to work? What's your plan?
You know how it is. It's like, do we ever actually take time off?
Right. Yeah.
The brain's always going. So I'm going to try to take as much time off as possible over the next 2 weeks, because the reality is there's not going to be a whole lot to do. A lot of our team is going to have the next 2 weeks off. Most of our clients are going to be taking the next 2 weeks off. There will be things that, I'm going to have to do. And I'm sure maybe a couple things that pop up that you'll have to do. But definitely, this is such a great time of year to pull back. And because here's the thing, like, there's so much planning that I think should happen for a business owner that doesn't take place. I mean, I'm sure you're kind of in the same mindset where, like, I'm thinking about, like, what sucked this year? What worked well this year? What do I want to change for 2026? And I thought maybe, honestly, this could be something we talk about for a minute at the start of the show. I mean, I think this is helpful for newer agents too. If they're newer and they're trying to get their footing, like, maybe we can talk a little bit about how to reconcile last year versus next year, and maybe some of the things that you're thinking in your head. This could be personally about ESI. This could be maybe more general advice. I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I totally agree. I remember one of the first videos that I put up on the YouTube channel, actually. And by the way, the YouTube channel, for all of you that are subscribed, the main channel, the Christian Brindle channel, which, funny enough, if you know the history, we need Chris Bell, our historian on the show today. The history of the channel is, it was first called Figure Medicare Agent before it was called the Christian Brindle channel. We decided to kind of brand it for me, but that channel reached 6 years old in the last week, which is crazy to me. But one of the first videos I ever put up on the channel talked about, athletes in the off season take time, the best ones take time to add something to their game, right? Like LeBron comes in, LeBron's a slasher. He drives to the basket. He's crazy athletic. He can pass. He's this freak of nature, but he doesn't have a jump shot. So he works in his jump shot. Then he doesn't have a post.
I love that the NBA. I love that you got the NBA tied back into this. By the way, but keep going.
I had to circle back around.
It's a great. No, this is a really good analogy. This is a really, really good analogy. Keep going.
I think it ties in very nicely, because you have times that you can consider slow times, and you can either completely take those off. Now, we've been ironically crazy freaking busy this month since the deadlines passed. We've had so much going on. I don't know how much we want to give a peek behind the curtain on that, but like, we've got, deals that we're working on to be put in place, preparation for the event. strategically planning, exactly like you said. We've had several meetings, just you and I, just strategically planning kind of some things we're going to be doing in the business for next year. Conversations with our attorneys and things like that. Like those have been so fun.
Oh, our attorneys,
Multiple.
That's right.
You've made it. You've made it when you need multiple attorneys.
I mean, I legitimately thought that yesterday afternoon. I had the same thought. I was like, multiple attorneys in multiple states in order to operate. I'm like, okay, like we're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. Not that we're a super litigious organization. It's just once you grow to a certain size, I think a lot of this stuff becomes inevitable where you need legal counsel. Some of it's advice, some of it's, responding to things going on in the business. But yeah, I love because, to continue on your ABA, can't talk this morning, to continue on the NBA theme, it's crazy to see these superstars always get better. Yeah. And Shea, as an example, Shea Alexander from the Thunder, he started in the league. I think he was shooting from behind the arc. His 3-point shot was like 33%, which isn't bad. If you're hitting 1 out of 3 behind the arc, that's pretty good. This year he's at 45.
For the NBA though.
I mean it's especially now, but things have changed a lot over the past 5 years. Okay, everybody shoots the 3 ball insanely well now, but the analogy that you can continue to improve, even if you're already at a level where you think you're crushing it, which some of you absolutely are. Some of you are doing really big things. You've grown really big agencies. Christian sees you, I see you, but there's also always room, I think, to get better and to add to your game. And this is an incredible time of year where things slow down enough, because what happens for me specifically is if I get so deep in the trenches of the day-to-day, a lot of times I can't even pull back to really see the bigger picture. So the slowdown is nice because it kind of forces that bigger picture conversation internally, or whether it's, with your business partners.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about this time of year.
Yeah. And there's like I said, there's tons of incredible progress being made, things happening and things like that this time of the year. But I think this time of the year is my favorite part about it, to kind of mirror what you said, is really kind of just resetting, reanalyzing where we're at. What should we be focusing on? What shouldn't we be focusing on? And then starting the year fresh with a clear trajectory. And, going into the year hot,
super hot, red hot.
Spice.
Spicy.
Let's talk about this episode's sponsor, shall we?
Yes.
Before we get too deep into the trenches, because I think we have a really interesting topic for you guys today, and I hope you enjoy it.
We do.
I enjoyed it, just kind of thinking about the possibilities of where this conversation could go leading up to the show. So, guys, the episode sponsor of episode 185 is none other than Hire Heroes, my friends. We're still doing a promotion on end-of-year virtual assistant services up until, I believe, Monday the 22nd. Do I have that correct?
Correct. Yes. So just a few days left, 3 days from now until that discount is over. This is your last chance to take advantage of this discount. I've already talked to many of you about the possible tax savings. Again, not a certified accountant, and this is not financial advice. However, many successful business owners will continue to spend going into the end of the year because they're trying to reduce their taxable income. And what could be an easier way than purchasing your virtual assistant hours that you already need, whether this is a new virtual assistant or you're already an existing client with Hire Heroes? This is such an easy way to utilize a strategy of reducing your taxable income while at the same time getting ahead in 2026. this is one of those things that kind of ties into what we're going to talk about later in the episode, but there's strategies that the ultra wealthy have been leveraging for millennia, you guys. And it starts off small. You could be an independent agent. This could be your second year, and maybe you only have a couple $1,000s to spend, and that's fine. And the game scales with you as you continue to get bigger. But again, what I can tell you from working with as many clients as we do at Hire Heroes and Lead Heroes, this is very common. This is very common. We're actually very busy at Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes right now, working on Q1. It feels like Santa's workshop in a lot of ways. The elves are running. Lester and Randy are just running around Santa's workshop trying to prepare for Q1 already. So I'm excited. But yes, to wrap up this promo, the sponsor of today's episode, the Hire Heroes 15% off. You can save $650 or more if you purchase your hours before end of day Monday, December 22nd. That's just 3 days from now. This is your last chance. Head over to hireheroes.com, HIREHEROES, hireheroes.com. The link is already in the comments below. Thank you, Mr. Randy.
Thank you, Mr. Elf.
Mr. Elf, Randy. Randy, I need an elf. Now I need you as an elf and Lester as an elf. I need that AI picture.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to frame that somewhere. Okay, so kind of circling into the main topic at hand today. So I find this topic super interesting. So this is what got me thinking about this. You know, news broke recently in the last week or two about, and in the last really month or two, there's been several news stories that have broken in terms of the wealth climb of Mr. Elon Musk. Okay, so there's several things at play here. His net worth just recently eclipsed $600 billion, the first person in history to acquire a net worth of that.
He's going to be
amount.
a trillionaire. Think about that. A trillionaire. Like, that sounds like something made up from like a sci-fi movie. Like, he's a trillionaire. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And I have so much to say about this, but what's happened recently is, you know, there's been essentially a plan, a trajectory for Tesla to grow to an $8 trillion market cap.
Yes.
And the board of directors essentially put together this incentivization package to where they will compensate Elon $1 trillion if he can help grow the valuation of the company to $8 trillion. I'm just like, wow, like what an incentivization package. I've never even heard of anything so crazy, so grandiose. Then on top of that, SpaceX is preparing to IPO.
Yes.
And you know, SpaceX is, let's face it, right? It's the most advanced space organization in the world right now. They're launching rockets like every other day. It seems like, you know, they're the only company right now that can get people to space. Is there? I don't think anyone else in the world can get people to space. They matter more than NASA. NASA doesn't matter anymore because of SpaceX. Like that sounds insane, but it's kind of true. Like, what is NASA doing these days? Nothing.
To dig into this a little bit. So one thing that surprised, because I think I talked previously when we went through our books. One of the books that I have read recently was his bio. Really great book if you guys want to learn more about Elon Musk or just, you know, what entrepreneurs are doing at the top level. He had specifically said he had some regrets about Tesla going public. He obviously had the famous tweet of, I'm going to take Tesla private at $420. That got him in trouble. And he had also, I believe he also said he would never take SpaceX public because he felt like, so I guess I'm really curious is what do you think changed where he's now going to be going public with SpaceX? Do you think it's just the need for capital?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Why does anyone go public, right? Like, like there's no other reason other than that,
Yeah.
right? To bring in investor funds and things like that.
Right.
And, to do what he's trying to do to colonize Mars, like he's trying to, like, if you really put into perspective and think about what he's trying to do from a creating value perspective. We talk all the time about create value and you'll be rewarded. Like,
Yes.
this guy really took that to heart, that thought process, because he's like, okay, we probably need to live outside of the Earth. The Earth is in decline. Who knows when? There's debates in terms of when of that, but there's problems with the Earth, right? There's pollution.
It's a redundancy plan, right? Any good business owner has a redundancy plan. He's looking at Earth. He's like, hey guys, we should probably have a backup.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, what's the most realistic planet we can do this on? Okay, Mars. They're like, sir, there's no life there. He's like, we'll create it. That's the conversations that are happening right now. And but to do what he's trying to do, you need such an enormous amount of money and capital. Like,
I think he said, and this was a while ago, who knows what's changed since, I think he said he has an hour every week blocked off just to discuss life on Mars.
I love
There's like
that.
an hour every week, like everything stops. And then, hey guys, it's Mars meeting.
Yeah. Like, but you look at that, right? And, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think about him and I didn't even mention some of his other businesses, right? Starlink is kind of exploded onto the scene in terms of.
Isn't that a part of SpaceX? I thought that was under the SpaceX umbrella.
Oh, maybe it is. For some reason, I thought it was its own company, but maybe not. There's, X has never been more popular than it is right now, in my opinion. You take a platform that was dead but had a lot of monthly users still, and he just revived it, turned it around, unbanned a bunch of accounts. I mean,
XAI.
I think about it. Yeah. I think about just everything that he's doing and all the businesses that he's juggling, and all of them have one thing in common. They create massive amounts of value that the market wants. And they do things in a way to where they solve problems. Like he is a professional problem solver. He's not a rocket scientist. He's not this genius IQ. He's not this, Tony Stark like motherfucker, well, he's all of those things, but to the core, what I look at him and I think the most of is I'm like ultimate problem solver.
Yeah.
Able to see problems and capture the opportunity of solving those problems. Like that, better than anyone who's ever lived, as far as I'm concerned. And so I'm thinking about all this, and I'm thinking to myself, and a lot of people, this year and last year or so in particular, just started to dislike Elon. He started getting more in politics. He's Doge and everything like that. Forget about all that for a second. Look at this objectively, because Elon's a funny one, because no matter whatever political side of the spectrum he's on at that point in time, like he used to be on the left, and the right would be like, Elon, radical left, dummy. And then he goes to the right, and then the left's like, dummy, fascist, Nazi.
Yeah.
Take that out of it for just a second and look at it from the perspective of all the opportunity that this guy's capitalizing on. And it just kind of opens your eyes to where if you're focused on solving problems and you have an imagination that's big enough, there's a lot of possibilities of what you can do in this life.
Absolutely.
And with your businesses. And that's what I really started thinking about. And I'm like, man, there's so much opportunity out there. Like, look what this guy is doing. Like we are ants, you and I. Like, we are doing amazing things in our industry and in our niche. We're ants. We're less than ants. We're termites.
Yeah. I mean, at scale. The
That's,
the scale up, right? I mean, it really is ants to, giants. It's a massive scale. But the idea, especially with so to circle back to the Tesla compensation package, because this is really interesting, and I think what can be taken away, this really ties into what we said at the start of the episode, is like planning and thinking ahead. What he's accomplishing with the team at Tesla, because a car company in and of itself most likely would never ever get anywhere close to a $10 trillion valuation, right? Or a market value. But he is taking what Tesla is doing and he's applying it all over the place. He's expanding the robotic taxi side of the business under the Tesla brand. So that's already launched in Texas. And my understanding is it's kind of been slowly expanding. I don't know how big it is at this moment, but that alone, if that becomes a national service, which he's obviously in one of the best positions to pull something like this off, that could be huge. Then you've got, other robotics that he's exploring. They're literally putting together humanoid robots. If you haven't seen those videos, again, utilizing the technology and kind of the factories and the supply chain that they've created and putting together. So this is all being done with, by the way, I don't know if you saw this as well. This is kind of funny, but I don't know did you see his most recent Joe Rogan interview he did?
I watched almost all of it, probably 75% of it. I didn't watch like the last 30 minutes. I just forgot to come back to it. But
did you see him talk about the Roadster? Do you remember that part? So
I don't.
So the Roadster was like the very first Tesla that ever launched. It was a 2-seater. It was like a little sports car. It never got really big, but it kind of like put Tesla on the map way back in the day. Well, they're redoing it because they stopped manufacturing it after a few years, but it's been like 8 years in the making. And a lot of people are like, what the hell, Elon, where's the Roadster? What's going on? I gave you my deposit. He was saying some of the craziest stuff to Joe. He was hinting that it could fly. He was hinting.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. I do remember this.
He was hinting that he's like, this will do something that cars have never done. He's like, there will be multiple ways of transporting yourself in this car. He's like, I can't say anything else. And I'm like, what? Is it a submarine? Is it gonna fly? I'm like, what is going on? Like, just crazy stuff. But the point is, though, is like, this isn't being done on a whim. He's not just showing up and clocking in and clocking out. Like, he's putting in so much planning. You have to plan so far ahead to even think, how could this company get to $10 trillion?
Yeah.
You have to put all of this planning in place and be like, we're going to use this to create this revenue stream. And we can all do the same thing. There's nothing that he's doing that we're not allowed to do. It's not like we're not allowed to build businesses. It's not like we're not allowed to hire teams of people. Like, it's all the same playing game here in the United States of America, right? Like, that's the crazy part, is the opportunity really is, just like the title of this episode, there is so much opportunity. And yet so many of you are focused on the narrow bandwidth of this negativity. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to continue on Elon, but maybe we could talk a little bit about the sentiment behind the opportunity part, because that's a big piece of this too.
Yeah. And, what really makes me think, what really kind of brings, circles back for me, kind of like you were saying, on the opportunity, is we are in such a good business. Like, think about how often other industries have major disruptions. Pretty often.
Yeah.
Like, even if you look at the stock market, every 5 years the stock market will crash. I mean, you don't have you have 2008, you have massive things, but like the stock market will semi crash at the very minimum every 5 years or so, maybe more often than that. Our industry, and I've been around it my whole life, this is the first year, this year and last year, this is the first years that I've ever can remember seeing like things happening that made people think, here we go. You know, like there's always been those people, always. Yeah. Even when I started, I've told the story on the show before where like there was an agent that started with me. He was with another competing organization, but I knew him a little bit. And he was always like just freaked out that something was going to happen and take the business away, you know, take the ability to be an agent that sells Medicare plans away. And it just crippled him. It paralyzed him. He could never go all in. He was always like finding these like cheap little side hustles, you know, like he was driving for Uber and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, go sell some fucking apps. Like,
doesn't that kill you when you see those comments and posts where it's like, what do I do to make money while I'm trying to sell insurance? It's like,
how about sell insurance?
Yeah. Yeah, that could make you money.
Oh,
those posts, it's like once a month I see that post. I'm starting to sell insurance, but I need something to do on the side to make money. What should I do? It's like, maybe just like really go all in, and you'll find out there's actually a lot of money to be made selling insurance.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're going to go drive for Uber. Sell 1 or 2 apps extra a month. You've covered your Uber money.
Yeah.
You know,
2 T65s is probably like a full-time Uber payment check. You know, I would imagine something like that.
100%. And I think, you know, and you know, I do feel like we've talked about this a little bit on the show as well. Culturally, it's become a lot more cool to be into the conspiracies of it all, of various things, right? Whether it be politics, like everything's a freaking conspiracy these days, everything. And so if you shout
out to the conspiracy episode if you missed that, possibly the best episode of 2025.
Yeah, it was up there. It was a Mount Rushmore one.
It was a Mount Rushmore. Unhinged. And it was amazing.
But like some of you are conspiracy theorists. Like this guy that I'm talking about that was in the business when I started, he was kind of a conspiracy guy as well. You know, he'd be like, this senator in Kansas, he works in a closet. You know, nobody's heard of him before. He's advocating for our demise. Like he was like sending me emails all the time. He's like, see this? Here we go. And I'm like, I'm out fucking working. Like, what are you doing? And he was out of the business within like a year or two.
Yep.
And he was on to the next thing, right? Like, so I think about what we're seeing right now in terms of negativity. It's always kind of been there from a certain segment of agents. It's always kind of been there. I just think it's a little higher and noisier than it was before. We had a carrier send us a goodie basket, you know, like it's like a thank you because we are amazing partners for them at the office. I post online, I'm like, thanks for the goodie basket. There's an agent that's like, would have been better if they paid commissions instead of sending goodies. And you know what I mean?
Ridiculous. Like, yeah.
I'm like, $30 basket of cookies. Commissions. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I guess you're gonna be in 2 camps. You're gonna be the conspiracy theorist, or you're going to be, and I want to be a conspiracy theorist in certain things in my life. I've tried to like talk myself into certain things. I'm like, looks like fun. But I have a hard time. There's very few conspiracies where I'm like, whoa, there's something. I'm just such a skeptic and a pessimist about the conspiracy, you know?
Yeah.
I'm it's like, I can't watch movies, you know, I'll poke holes in the plot. I'm that guy, you know, I'm like, how did they get there when they were just here?
The key part of this though is like, you can't be in both camps. You can't have one foot in the conspiracy camp and also have a foot in like the top producer camp. They are almost always like, maybe there's one exception out of a million out there where you have like someone who's done really well and they are in the conspiracy, Medicare's ending, commissions are going away. We're going to be a one-payer system in the next 2 years, blah, 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 blah. AI is taking all of the jobs, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. You know, there's plenty of, we've covered it a million times on the show, what these conspiracies are. You know, the Chicken Little agents who think the meteor is literally right on the horizon and is about to hit Earth and we're all going to die. It's really, really difficult because, and you have to think about this from a mentality. If you get up in the morning and you're just overcome with fear that the industry is ending, overcome with fear that the business you've been building is going to disappear overnight, it's really hard to operate as an individual, whether you're an independent agent or you're an agency owner. How could you possibly execute at the highest level of your day if you're so wrapped up in that fear? I'm telling you, you can't. I've been on both sides. I've kind of dabbled, I guess. Christian, I think, is probably, I might be a little bit more on the conspiracy side than Christian at times. But the further along I've gotten in my career, the more I'm always like, you know, let me know when the bomb goes off. You know, like don't talk to me about weapons of mass destruction. Let me know when there's something like of strong evidence. Okay, when there's strong evidence, I'm in. I'm there. You know, if tomorrow Dr. Oz does a live stream and says, "Hey guys, we're terminating every Medicare agent in the nation. We don't need you guys anymore." Okay, let's all panic together. I'll meet you at church. We'll pray. Like, I'm in. But until that happens, I'm not going to spend my valuable time and energy. Someone said faith over fear. I love that, Cassidy. Yes, faith over fear. Like, I'm going to operate from the standpoint that this business is just going to keep growing and getting bigger, because that's how I win and that's how we win. I don't want to waste my time with the conspiracies that 9.9 out of 10 times have been proven to just be conjecture.
If you look at the biggest points of panic over the past 2 years, let's say, it's been in the form of regulations, final rules, most of which ended up never seeing the light of day. You know, like we had a competing FMO in Utah being like, "This isn't funny," because, you know, I make jokes about everything. I'm very insensitive about these things.
Yeah,
I kind of have
a good word. That's a good word for you.
I kind of have a bit of a twisted sense of humor. I find it hilarious, but so like I'll be poking fun at this stuff, and this guy is like within 2 or 3 hours after the final rule even dropped last year in 2024, he's like, "This isn't funny. There's FMOs that have already closed their doors." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "We don't even know what's in this thing. It's 1,000 pages. It's been out 2 hours." But like,
great example of the conspiracy camp.
They've always, and now could that have been something? Sure, but the powers that be stepped up and did something about it.
The Avengers. Literally, the Avengers united and took out Thanos right in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
I believed in the Avengers from the beginning. I was not worried. I really wasn't that worried.
And, you know, I'm not saying that you completely ignore these things, but like to basically allow it to just cause you to freeze. You know, there's that old acronym that I've heard forever and ever. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And that is such a true statement 9 times out of 10.
Yes.
Right? Like, and, you know, you look at the non-commissionable plans, probably 47 states were fine. And 3 were kind of rough in the scheme of things. Like,
yep.
You know, and, but people were like thinking it was going to be all the states, right? Like, I just feel like when things come out that make you feel a little uncertain, first off, are you in the conspiracy camp? Are you in, we are in a recession-proof, long-term, has longevity industry, has been solid since 1966. industry. That's the camp I'm in. Because I've seen so much. You can't fool me. You can't tell me I didn't see what I've been seeing since I was a child.
With hundreds of insurance agents and agency owners at the event, this could not be a better opportunity to spotlight your business. If you're looking for a sponsorship opportunity and where to spend your sponsorship dollars this year, the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit is the spot to do it. You can have your own booth. You can network with agents. This is the 4th annual summit, so there's going to be a lot of agents there and a lot of agents who are looking for help from vendors for leads, educational vendors. You could have a software tool. There's so many great vendors that we've had in the past, and we're looking at a lot of great opportunities for businesses to sponsor at the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit. So if you are looking for a sponsorship opportunity, make sure to check out sevenfiguresmedicareagentsummit.com.
Get your tickets today while they're still available and reach out about sponsorship opportunities. We'd love to have you involved with the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Summit in 2025. Now back to the show.
I love that the Chicken Little agents have become conspiracy theorists. The conspiracy camp. I love it.
That's where I put them. But like this other camp,
yes,
you can't be in both. If you're in this other camp, it doesn't mean you ignore what's going on. You want to pay attention. That's the other extreme. I talked on this show about, agents that are just completely head in the sand. They have no idea what's going on. Like Dr. Oz is our CMS admin. That's you don't want that, but
let's go.
You don't want that, but it's to me, it's about like paying attention to what's going on, making sure you're up to speed on things, but maneuvering things, taking steps forward and being like, this business is going to be here for me and I'm going to be here for it. And this business is going to be here long term. I genuinely believe that. There's been so many little dumb things that have popped up in my lifetime where, whether it was my father as an agent, my father, I've told the story many times in the show, literally got so spooked about Hillary Care in the 90s that he got his PNC license and became a farmer's agent for 3 months. Like that happened. That happened. And, that was in 1995 or 6 or whatever it was.
Oof.
Did anything happen? Was that necessary, or is that Chicken Little type thinking? Like, okay, I'm not trying to put my dad down from that, but I'm just saying, like, there's been these little points of, this is it. It's over.
That
since
was
1995.
When I got my license in 2013. God, which is crazy that it's been that long. But that was my very first. It's the very first thing I was told before I knew anything about Medicare, before I even understood that you could sell insurance surrounding Medicare, and like there were before any of that, I knew nothing. The very first piece of information that hits my brain is that Medicare sucks. There's no money to be made in Medicare. It's probably going to go away at some point anyways. Like, I'm being told all of this from the conspiracy camp. And honestly, it's one of my biggest regrets that I bought in. I bought in. I wish I could go back in time and be like, guys, I think you might be wrong. I'm going to just go ahead and go kind of headfirst into Medicare for the next 10 years and see what happens. I wish I had done that. It would have probably changed my life at a much earlier, a much earlier point than if I had waited till much later to get into Medicare. But you can't be in both camps, but you can switch camps. And the interesting part is I've seen it go both ways. And really, this most recent AEP, we kind of saw an exodus from what are we calling the producer camp? What's the good camp called?
I would the good.
I'm imagining it's like you're at like summer camp and there's like two camps across the lake from each other. So you got like conspiracy camp.
the cool kids camp.
We're
and
the
nerd
nerds?
camp.
We're the nerds? The conspiracy?
No, the conspiracy camp is the nerd.
Oh, they're
camp.
the nerd. They're the. I was like, I don't want to be a nerd. Okay, what's the good camp? What's the good camp?
The
called?
good camp I would call
The leaders.
oh, that's
Good
a
comment.
good one.
I like the
I
leaders.
would say the bulls, the bullish on the industry camp,
Ooh,
the bulls, and
Yeah,
the bears.
the bulls,
if you want to call it
the-
even that.
Yeah, it's the producer camp. It's the people who are selling, guys. They're not bogging themselves down with conspiracies or negativity. I mean, you're bullish on the industry. You're a leader in the industry. We saw this AEP, a wild exodus of people getting in their rowboats and going across the lake to the conspiracy camp. People who there's one individual that comes to mind that I know Christian knows really well. They were an agent for a long time, and they literally saw some of these non-commissionable plans come up, and they were like, "Sold my book. I'm out. See ya. Bye." And it was literally like that, and it's so crazy, especially now that we're on the other side of it. I know it was bleak. It felt really bleak in September. It felt really bleak. A lot of negativity. I mean, everyone's feeling like the world's ending, but now that we're on the other side of it, and now that Dr. Mehmet Oz has gotten his hands on CMS leadership and got that proposal out, I've never felt so bullish after reading that proposal. We were on this type of trajectory with those CMS proposals for the last 5 years. And now Dr. Oz has the yoke, and he's like, he's trying to pull back on the plane right now. we're on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like what you will have in terms of setbacks in our space is you'll have regulation. Every time there's a change in the White House, you have a potential for change in CMS. So that will change the direction. Like that's a thing that happens. And then in addition to that, you'll have legislation that gets passed. And you'll have and that's kind of the things that impact our business, I think, the most. The carriers just adapt. The carriers just kind of adapt to the new rules of the game. I don't feel like there's much more that they're doing other than that. This year in particular was one of those years where I was exhausted by the end of it, because we've spent the entire year trying to educate on what's going on and what you should know and what you should be doing, what you should be thinking about. This exact message that, hey, if you would just shut up and go grow your business, a year from now, you're going to be like, wow, that was not that big of a deal. Like, we got through that. Or maybe it was really hard. Maybe it was really difficult, but we made it through, and just quit your bitching. Like, there's been a lot of times where there's been things going on in the business, in the industry, where I'm like, yeah, I would much rather sit in a corner and bitch about this. And sometimes I do. You can ask people in the organization.
Never.
I'm not saying I don't. I'm not like I'm. I don't get pissed off about something. I'm like this sucks. We got to fix this.
Yeah.
God damn it. Like, those things happen, but I keep moving forward. I keep doing what I need to do. I keep showing up every day, and I really feel like that is one of the reasons that the agency has been so successful, is because we outlast a lot of these things, and we keep moving forward with a bullish mentality, because our industry is really, really unique. It's really unique. Like, from the standpoint of everybody has to have what we're selling. It's in the red money wise, and they still keep it going. It's been in the red since I started.
Yep.
Like, people are like, Medicare's bankrupt. I'm like, Medicare's been bankrupt. You know what I mean? Like, what are we saying? Like, but no politician would ever dare get rid of it.
It's too important. It's too important. You have the number one voting bloc in America, which is the oldest generation, right? The people who are below the age of 60 are a lot less likely to vote than a senior. The seniors are the ones who show up in droves. One thing I wanted to circle back on, though, is so I'm trying to remember where I heard this. I feel like it may have been a TED Talk. I honestly don't remember. I think it was a TED Talk, but they were talking about how much information is available today. And if you actually take the time, so let's say as an example, okay? Let's say as an example, Christian's like, I want to start selling final expense. And I want to learn about final expense. And he's going out, he's searching the internet, he's talking to his best friend, Chatty G. He's, getting books and reading blogs and watching YouTube videos, and he's self-educating, right?
Hang on. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't want to go.
Oh, no.
Okay. I would like to learn about selling final expense. Can you help me?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to help you out. So selling final expense insurance is basically about offering smaller, more affordable life insurance policies that are meant to cover end-of-life costs like funeral expenses or medical bills. Typically, you're working with older clients who are looking for peace of mind and a simple policy. If you're just getting started, it's all about building trust and really understanding your client's needs. You want to be compassionate and patient since these can be sensitive conversations. And of course, it helps to know your products inside and out so you can match the right policy to the right person. Let me know if you want to dive into any specific aspects.
I wanted to make it a real life scenario there.
Next year we should do an episode where I just hold up my Chatty G to my mic and you hold up your chat and they just talk to it. We're like the point I was trying to they did this big study on how much information do you need to take in to be successful with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, whatever task or whatever your goal is. And what they found is that the most successful people, whether it's a business owner or whatever you're trying to accomplish, they take in about 40% of the available information. If you are out there drinking the fire hose, you're probably going to be in the conspiracy camp. That's where you're going to go. That's my belief. Is if you are scrolling all day, if you're watching every single video, you're going to find yourself in a rabbit hole. You're going to end up in the conspiracy camp. You're going to be like, oh, I don't want to sell final expense because so-and-so said it's horrible and nobody wants it. And so I'm not going to sell it anymore. Versus if you just got just enough to where you can take action and then you start going. So I think that's part of the problem here too, is I think there's so much information available now. There's good info, bad info, stuff in between. There's filler information where it's not really applicable. Like what you want to get into, like, behind the scenes with the carriers. And you're like, well, what did American Amicable do in 1992 from a profit standpoint? It's like, why does that matter? Like, that doesn't matter. Like, I think that's where a lot of agents, a lot of us, I've been a part of this, so I feel like I really understand is like that's where you go left. You like take a hard left turn, and then all of a sudden you're lost.
Yeah, it's like I picture like someone looking at a picture of like United Healthcare's headquarters or something. And there's like a cloud in the sky above it. And it's like, and all of a sudden there's a triangle in the picture. Wait, you know what I'm saying?
No, I have no idea what you're talking. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I have no idea what. I was like, is he talking about S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'm like, is this an Avengers reference? I'm like, what are we talking about here?
Hang on. Is this it? Let me see. Oh, we're gonna get demonetized.
Yeah, don't do it. Bad Christian. Really quick, while Christian's trying to find whatever scary thing he's looking for, we are going to be doing a massive giveaway today for our final Freebie Friday of 2025. Guys, we have given away more than $100,000 worth of services, leads, summit tickets, education in the form of Seven Figure University. We have literally been giving away all year in the group. If you've been in Seven Figure Medicare Agent, you're already aware of the lucrative opportunity when all you do is comment on one of the live streams that we've done this week. This is the second live stream. Christian had an awesome solo episode earlier this week talking about the future of the Seven Figure Medicare Agent group. If you missed that, check it out. If you comment on this stream and that stream, that gives you 2 chances to win. I'm going to shoot for 7 prizes. So we're talking about summit tickets, leads from Lead Heroes, virtual assistant hours from Hire Heroes. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. So comment now. Don't wait. Tag your friends. If you're like, hey, you need to also get in on this giveaway, tag them. Tag them below. That's happening. Huge holiday giveaway. It's going down. Did you find what you were looking for, Mr. Brindle?
No, I don't think so. You know, like those, you know, like where like there's like pictures of something and like people make a triangle and then there's Illuminati.
Oh, yeah. And it's like the circle in the triangle.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what you were trying.
I couldn't find the music though.
You know the meme of it's from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but it's Charlie. He's got all the pictures on the wall. And he's like looks crazy, and he's got red string between all the pictures. And he's like, I should do that over this little Christmas break. I should create a conspiracy wall and be like, look, AI is talking to the carriers. The carriers are working with the government. The government is talking to the aliens. The aliens don't want you to have health insurance. The premiums.
The 48-hour rule is really brought to you by aliens.
I'm here to tell you that the 48-hour rule is to protect aliens, and if we get rid of it, if we get rid of the 48-hour rule, we're probably going to invite aliens.
That's a pretty good impression. You got the crackle down really well.
Yeah. Shout out to Alex Jones.
I think to kind of like circle back and kind of bring it all back, you know, to on the rails there. I
actually had a question I wanted to ask you that's I think really pertinent. So we're talking about opportunities. There's so much opportunity, only if you can see it. What would you say going into 2026? What are some of the biggest opportunities that you can think of for agents going into 2026 where you're like, guys, this is a huge opportunity? Maybe it's something we're talking about doing at ESI. Maybe it's just something that you've been thinking about. Maybe it's technology, software. Maybe it's anything. Well, what's an opportunity? What's something that you're excited about that you could throw out a little breadcrumb for somebody out there?
Yeah, I don't want to give too much of our secrets away.
Breadcrumb, not the whole loaf. Just break off a little piece, just a little piece.
Yeah. I mean, one that's natural and might sound obvious is just, you know, when everyone else is retracting, if you're out there aggressively taking on new business, bringing on new 265 members, writing more Advantage plans, writing more Med Sup plans, like you're going to be able to clean up because a lot of people are playing defense right now.
Yeah.
I said that during AEP, and that was shown by a lot of people that produced a lot of business this AEP, us included. We had a great year, we had a great season for the agency. You know, so that might sound like an obvious one. Another one I think is we talked about this a little bit on the show. I feel like ACA alternative options are making a comeback with everything going on in ACA. And assuming that there's nothing that happens from now until then that brings all the subsidies back, it's like, guess what? $300,000 a year in income, subsidy, 100% paid for. You know, like assuming like that doesn't happen, and we stay on the wave, you know, of the you know, premiums being high, less people qualifying for subsidies, you know, kind of being, you know, circa pre-COVID era again. I think short-term medical plans, things like Manhattan Life Affordable Choice, are really great opportunities because they're options you can present to people that might not want to pay for a ACA plan. I call them the healthy and wealthy crowd.
Yes.
They don't qualify for a subsidy. They're healthy because those plans do have, you know, limitations to them. I saw a little bit of
that's a gold nugget, you guys.
I saw a little bit of back and forth in some other groups about this, about like Manhattan Life's affordable choice. I was a fly in the wall. I don't ever engage in any groups that aren't ours anymore. Very rarely. But I do watch from time to time. So I might be watching you. But no, I did see a little bit of back and forth about that. You know, people being like, "Oh, you shouldn't sell Manhattan Life Affordable Choice as a standalone option." Probably true. But I think it is a super indemnity plan that you can pair with some other types of lower option or something like that. You know, so I think these ACA alternatives, I think, are going to boom as long as nothing changes on the subsidy side of things. So that is, to me, a huge opportunity where it wouldn't make sense to get those before. Like a Manhattan Life Affordable Choice option or like a short-term medical plan, like an Allstate, those commissions are so freaking, you know, gangster, you guys. They really are. Like,
oh my God, we got a rare Christian on the stream today.
Like, okay, let's say you put someone on a short-term medical plan and it's $300 a month, right?
Yeah.
And let's say your commission is, I can't remember what street is on those, 21, 22. Let's say it's 22. Making $66 a month, son. On
That's
that,
basically 2 Medicare apps.
Yeah. If not a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost 3, not quite, but it's probably in that in between, you know, like, come on. You know, I remember, you know, there was one person, husband and wife, and I can't remember what the circumstances were, but it was like $500-600 a month for their short-term medical plan. They wanted like the best one they could get, strongest network. They wanted it for as long as they could get, you know, at the time it was like 36 months. Like everything was maxed out. These people were like super rich. They got cancer plans on top of it. Like it was just, I was like, I love this. Can I do nothing but this?
Adopt me. I'll be your son.
Yeah. So like in that scenario, right, they're paying $600 a month. It's $132 a month in commission off one deal. Like not to mention the cancer plans.
There is some strong insurance. When you find them, they want all the insurance they can get their hands on. That was such a gold nugget, though, as far as opportunity. It's also a great, like, kind of ties through this whole episode of the ACA subsidies go away. How are you going to respond? And the initial response we've seen from a lot of agents is screw the government and people are going to go without health insurance and this is horrible. I can't believe this is happening. And I'm losing ACA clients because they can't afford their premiums. But it's actually more opportunity. If you actually understand that anytime there's disruption, just like we've said over and over, anytime there's disruption, there's opportunity. And these short-term medical plans, obviously they're not for everyone, but there is definitely a segment of the market where they would be all about it if they were educated on what's available to them. A lot of people are going to be wondering, what else is out there? Because they can't afford their premiums anymore. So yeah, and the compliance behind this is not selling Medicare Advantage, you guys. This is selling a cancer plan. This is selling, a dental vision hearing plan. This is a much simpler sale than trying to sell a Medicare Advantage plan. So if you're looking for an opportunity in 2026, and right now, I would say almost with certainty those subsidies are gone. The enhanced ACA subsidies, they were contemplating another vote or this, that, or the other thing. It's gone. It's over. It's done.
And the Biden administration tried to kneecap the short-term medical plans. They made it to where you could only get them for 2-3 months at a time. And that immediately gets undone when the Trump admin comes in. It's like
Yep.
12 back to 12 months, 24 months, that combined with now, again, those types of plans are not for everybody. They have limitations on them. So you got to explain it to the client thoroughly. Like, I want to make sure I give that, disclaimer. It's not a fit for everybody, but there are a lot of people that do fit in that box nicely.
Yep.
Like maybe you give them like a really low end short-term medical plan with Manhattan Life Affordable Choice. That's a spicy meatball, probably still pay less than their ACA plan.
That's a very spicy meatball. My answer to that same question, I know we're getting towards the top of the hour.
Yes.
I was going to say passive cross-selling. I think a lot of people, a lot of agents, when you hear the word cross-selling, I think a lot of you in your head get lost in the potential aggression of, I'm trying to sell multiple things to my client. I'm going to harm my primary sale. I'm here to write the med sup. I'm here to write the Advantage plan. If I try to get into cross-selling at any point, it's going to harm the original sale. Passively, if you are just educating your clients as you're going, oh yeah, well, do you have life insurance? Do you need help with that? I can also help you with that. If you have any questions, let me know. It took me 10 seconds to say, 7 seconds. It was not, hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm going to need to qualify you for this final expense app, and then we're going to submit it. And if you don't want it, you can decide later. I don't care, but we're doing this today. I'm not trying to strong arm Mrs. Jones into signing up for something that she doesn't want. But what I can tell you statistically from doing this as long as I have, if you just educate every client that you're interacting with, it could be a follow-up, it could be a customer service situation where you're talking to an existing client, or it could be a new client, or maybe it's a lead that hasn't even signed up yet as your client. It's a prospect. If as you're going in 2026, you are softly educating every person that you communicate with, because the average full-time producer, if you're really grinding all year, you're probably having, I don't know, what would you say, 3,000 conversations, 2,000 conversations? If you're talking about leads, existing clients, your AEP conversation, you're talking to most likely thousands of seniors every year. If naturally you just say, hey, we also help seniors with final expense and life insurance. So if you need any help with that, just let us know. If you just said that during every conversation at some point, you are going to naturally, passively get potentially hundreds of applications without spending anything on marketing, without being aggressive about trying to sell anything. And this is something that 95% of you, I could preach it every day all year. 95% of you won't do it. I'd say maybe 5% or less of agents are cross-selling in any capacity. And if you figured that out, you're going to have redundancy in place. You don't have to be as concerned about Medicare-related things because you have another stream of revenue you're growing. You're also going to be offering your clients more protection that they're probably going to get somewhere else anyways if you don't sell it. And, you're going to earn more money. It's a massive, massive win. And it's super simple. It's something that we're at ESI, we're putting an emphasis on. We already started this year, but it's just going to continue to be more of an emphasis internally. And hopefully you guys can see that opportunity as well, because I think that's a big, big, big one.
Agreed. Yeah, I think expanding your horizons in terms of that and, selling more policies per client is going to be a really big winner. So yeah, I think, man, there's just so much opportunity. And
So much
it
opportunity.
it hurts my heart that so many of you just have a hard time seeing it. And if you feel like an agent, I'll kind of close the show, my final thoughts with this. If there's an agent that that is down in the dumps, they're doom and gloom, they're the nerd in the conspiracy camp.
Nerds.
Please encourage them to watch this show in its entirety.
Yeah.
I know you guys are watching Netflix. Turn that garbage off and turn this on. You have time. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't have time. I know you're not writing business. Right? Watch this.
Hey, nerds.
Nerds.
Oh. Is that your final thoughts of 2025?
Close the year, baby. Close the
Okay.
year.
If you're a nerd, turn off Netflix and watch the podcast. Christian's final thoughts of the year for everybody. He's wearing, by the way, for the audio only audience, I wanted to mention he's wearing a Grinch costume. Not in all of it, but there is a Grinch robe on. I couldn't tell originally, but yes, some dark Christian Grinch advice coming to you to wrap up the year. Yeah, my final thoughts, you guys, you don't have to be Elon Musk to take advantage of these opportunities. You can take advantage of all the opportunities that are available right now as an agent. We all get the same insurance license. It doesn't matter if you are an independent agent or an agency owner, or you own an FMO, or you're getting magic coffee brought to you. Jealous. Wow, look at that. There's there's a splash of
stuff in
there's
it.
this much coffee in Christian's coffee. Oh my God. That's a heart attack in a cup.
I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't drink it.
You have to. It's
I'm
Christmas.
sorry. Continue your final thoughts.
The insurance license, what I love about it is it's an equal playing field. It doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent and you just got your license yesterday, or if you have an FMO and you've been in the space for 30 years. It's the same exact insurance license that allows you to participate in this game.
Yeah.
And that's the opportunity. Look at some of the biggest, there's billion-dollar organizations. There's literally billion-dollar organizations that Christian and I interact with, and we know the owners of. And it's crazy to me sometimes to think about when I talk to someone, I'm like, man, that person had the same opportunities that I do. Obviously, you can't compound for 30, 40 years, right? Like, you can't do what someone did in 40 years in 2 years, but it should really be an example to you as an agent of what's possible. And that's where I try. Again, what I love about the summit is bringing a lot of these people together and being able to really see some of the most successful people in our industry on stage at the summit, being able to talk to them. I love talking to them behind the scenes, getting to know their business a little bit better and understanding what they've done to be successful. And it really just goes to show how much opportunity really exists and will continue to exist in this space. So those are my final thoughts of 2025. Again, the last Freebie Friday of the year is happening today. It's the 7-figure 7-prize giveaway. We're going to have 7 winners. 7 winners to cap off 7-figure Freebie Friday. Comment below, whether it's live or replay. Drop a comment. Comment on Christian's episode from earlier this week. You could win big. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will be seeing you next year in 2026.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. As always, as we sign off, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, give a 5-star review, whatever the platform of your choice will allow you to do, and make sure to share this episode with the nerds in your life. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we will see you guys next year.
Yes. See you next year.